Thank you. The Chair now recognizes Mr. Huizenga for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. I appreciate your indulgence in giving me a moment. I had a chance this past weekend to be in Stockholm, in Sweden, with the Transatlantic Legislative Dialogue. That, as you can imagine, fascinating time right now with what's been going on. There was members of the EU Parliament from Finland that were there, and a number of other countries. Quite a lot of conversation about Sweden's ascension into NATO. And I just want to publicly, again, state my support of that, and we hope that those that appear to be holding this back, Hungary and Turkey, that they come to their senses on this, and that they see that this would be a positive thing to have for NATO. One of the issues that I discussed at length while we were there with a number of our European colleagues was the Arctic and what was going on. Certainly with Finland and Sweden, or hopefully soon Sweden, now being a part of NATO, they are part of the Arctic Council. Russia is also a part of that Arctic Council. Incredibly, China is trying to claim near Arctic status. And seem to have a cooperation with Russia about that. In fact, these are published public facts that Canada earlier this year discovered Chinese listening buoys in Canadian waters up in the Arctic. So I've been seeing that this is not just a strategic area, valuable and ripe with valuable commodities and energy and minerals. It's also has commercial, geopolitical implications, and frankly, security implications. And it's no doubt that China has its eyes and designs on that, and in fact, it even has something called the Polar Silk Road initiative. So it cannot be ignored that that area is rising in its importance. So recently, I sent a letter with the support of Chairman Kane and fellow members of this committee to Secretary Blinken, seeking states' plan to bolster our Arctic allies and partners to thwart Russia and Chinese influence in the region. Within the letter, I pointed to Finland's ascension to NATO, in addition to Sweden's pending ascension, as a marker of a fundamental shift in the Arctic. So first and foremost, and I guess this would be to you, Deputy Assistant Secretary Jones, what can NATO do to expand and strengthen our partnership in the Arctic? And is there a common understanding or a path ahead from NATO on further engagement in the Arctic region, or are there some other member nations that might take some more convincing?
So I agree that the Arctic is a area of increased attention. It's growing geostrategic challenges, and it's also rising on NATO's agenda. As you mentioned, when Sweden and Finland join the alliance, then 7 of the 8 Arctic nations will be in NATO.
Yeah.
So that's a lot more of the Arctic in NATO. And NATO also sees rising importance there, primarily as a result of Russia's increased military presence in what it calls the High North, and also China.
Okay, we've got just a little over a minute now. I want to hit on a couple of other quick things. There was a 2022 report titled The National Strategy for the Arctic Region. One of the areas was sustainable development capacity. However, security capacity was not mentioned in that. And I'm trying to push on this. Is the Biden administration support the idea of an escalated involvement in the Arctic region, not just for development reasons and for sustainable development reasons, but for security reasons? You understand my distinction here, right? I mean, the security was not, and military importance and security importance wasn't discussed, but there was a lot of emphasis more on sustainability. And I want to make sure that we're not just focused on sustainability and green initiatives in the Arctic. I want to make sure that we are also seeing the strategic military as well as security elements in the Arctic.
So
Congressman, you know, aside from that particular document, I can just emphasize that yes, we recognize the strategic and security dimensions of the Arctic. And we have long recognized the malevolent role that Russia plays in the region, and now are very mindful of watching China's moves. So this is an occupation for the Department of Defense, and it is something that we are focused on.
Okay, and I know, Mr. Chairman, my time is up, and I'd like to follow up with some written questions through the chair to you about an Arctic, unified Arctic NATO command, as well as how NATO can address the challenges from the PRC in that Arctic security, regarding Arctic security in that region. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate your indulgence and yield back.
Yeah, without objection.